And in the next 30 minutes, Attorney General fights back and tackles critics who say he is on the agenda to cover up and whitewash top government officials implicated in the Professor Frimpong Boateng Galamsey report.
And the professor clearly, as recorded in the docket of the CID, refused to cooperate. A number of attempts were made to take statements from him. He even refused to give a written statement. He stated that he was relying on the bare allegations contained in his report. The CID proceeded further to probe all the allegations against each of the individuals, and they could not unearth anything at all.
Well, there's more unfolding tonight as analysts question police investigations on the matter. We hear from the AG responding to calls for him to release official police accounts commenting on the status of Galamsey sites named by Professor Frimpong Boateng.
I made a request to police. We live in this era of right to information and all that. I get regular requests for information from Troy FM, requested for information from me in respect of cases I'm doing, Warrior and what have you. And I've furnished him with the information.
And top story, as always, is brought to you by Vodafone. Further together. Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Damian, who doubles as Minister for Justice, is fighting back tonight as he tackles critics who have faulted him for his report clearing some top government officials alleged to be involved in illegal mining activities. It will be recalled that Professor Frimpong Boateng, the former Minister for Science and Environment and chairperson of the now defunct Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, authored a report that implicated several government officials and MPP bigwigs for being complicit in the illegal mining menace. But in his legal advice to the police, the Attorney General recommended that none of these persons be prosecuted because, in his view, there's, quote, no evidence. Well, we'll hear from the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Damian, shortly. First, though, listen to the private legal practitioner, Martin Pibwe, and the NDC's National Communications Officer, Sami Jemfi, who both accused the AG of simply attempting to whitewash and cover up his own.
We never made any call on the Attorney General to expedite any investigations into this matter.
The OSP, I mean.
Yes, our call was on the Office of Special Prosecutor.
Yes.
Because we've never had confidence in the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice. Since this government took office, you and I have never seen this Attorney General prosecute any official of this government or member of the ruling party for any act of corruption. He's not done so because he's not interested in fighting corruption, neither is he interested in protecting the interests of it. This latest advice from his office on the Frimpong Boateng report, Damian report, is yet another attempt by this Attorney General to cover up clear acts of corruption on the part of government officials and members of the ruling UP party.
For these ones that he's seeking to discharge upon Nkrumah and the rest, CID, they are usually seen as part of the executive, so they won't do anything to rock the boat. So it's for us citizens to lodge another criminal complaint, or we, as a public, we can demonstrate or do other things to put pressure on the AG to reverse this opinion, because this opinion is incomplete. They need to go to the forest and check. The report, the opinion doesn't talk about investigations in the forest. You don't need Frimpong Boateng to come to give you any further details. No.
Right.
No, not at all. So how can this Frimpong Boateng report just within a few months, they say they finished? It's whitewashing.
And the very words of Martin Pibwe is causing the Attorney General to fight back in a fiery response. I beg your pardon. The Attorney General has told his critics that they simply do not have any basis to call him out for his report. He's also arguing that the report will not in any way prejudice a similar investigation being conducted by the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
I made a request to police. We live in this era of right to information and all that. I get regular requests for information from Joy FM, requested for information from me in respect of cases I'm doing, Woyome and what have you. And I've furnished them with the information. Have you or any member of Joy FM requested the CID for information at all? The case here is just simple. A situation where a docket was regularly presented to the Attorney General for review. CID had concluded its investigations in the matter, had made clear findings even before bringing the docket for our review.
Right. So
that there was no evidence against any of the persons. And indeed, many a time, we sometimes we overturn the findings of CID and say, no, we recommend prosecution against this person. We rather recommend prosecution against that person and that kind of thing.
Right. But Mr. Dame, I mean, lastly, we also know that the OSP is relying on Mr. Frimpong Boateng's documents, right? But, such pronouncements and all we are seeing within the media space, don't you believe will affect the work of the OSP?
Are you suggesting to me that my work as a General can in any way prejudice the work of the OSP? How you look at the Constitution, as a great of the Constitution, all prosecutorial authority in the country is versus the Attorney General. I do not understand you to be suggesting that when I am discharging my constitutional functions as Attorney General, I should render myself subject to what the OSP is doing. The OSP's mandate is very narrow and limited to a specific issue, and I do not concern myself with what the OSP is doing. My concern is discharging my duties under the Constitution. I do not concern myself with what the OSP is doing, and indeed I have no idea at all what he's doing. He's free, he's at liberty. I've never instructed him on any matter at all. The record shows that record will show that I've given him absolute liberty and independence to conduct whatever work he does. And indeed he's proceeding. My inquiry was on whether criminal charges can be sustained against any of the individuals named in the report here. And I think that's the most important thing. And indeed, on the question as to, it's also important to clarify, first and foremost, that the report or the docket presented by CID was not a general docket on Galamsey cases in the country. Definitely not at all. The docket by CID was specific. It bordered on whether these named or specified individuals, there was a case against them to be filed in court. And that was it. In respect of general Galamsey cases in the country, recently, even just last week, it was reported in Daily Graphic, 25 persons have been convicted of Galamsey offences in Western region and what have you. Presently, there are about 120 cases involving Galamsey that are being prosecuted by the Office of the Attorney General. And all those 120 cases involve about 800 people. And indeed, you have people who have been prosecuted for mining in forest zones. I think last week, when the report was made about the conviction by the court in
clearly
Western region.
Yes, please. So
if you look at the report clearly, it showed conviction for people of conviction for mining in forest zones. Specifically, there was conviction of certain persons who had mined along the Ankobra River, persons who had also mined in an area described as the Dumfree Forest Reserve in Tapa and all.
Well, that's not all, because when asked whether the Ghana Police Service and his office went beyond, first of all, the report authored by Frimpong Boateng to investigate the persons implicated in this report, the Attorney General argued that the persons who need that information can actually apply to the police using the RTI law. And that's his challenge to any individual requesting for update on that. And lots of reactions greeting the very statements by the Attorney General now, pointing out to us that anyone who needs details on the veracity, on when it comes to the status of these Galamsey sites that Professor Frimpong Boateng refers to in this report, he's urging everyone to go in through the vehicle of the RTI to confirm that for themselves. But it's a reason for which I want to bring in once more Erastus Asaridonko, who's a producer, Poison for gold. That will be airing in the coming days on the Joint News channel. Also joining us is lawyer Martin Pebu, who's also at the center of this, knowing that the Attorney General finds some challenge with his criticism on this matter. Counsel, thank you for spending some time with us. The AG, first of all, clarifying that his work has no bearing on the activities of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Beyond that as well, he's now pointing to us that any individual who wants to clear the doubts that, for instance, you have as to whether or not the police service, the AG, went to these sites, Galamsey sites, named by Professor Frimpong Boateng, he says, use the vehicle of the Right to Information law. What's your response? And lawyer Martin Pebu, I believe that you're with us.
Yes.
I was just pointing out there the response from the Attorney General, pointing out that your criticism appears to be unfair to him, knowing that his work has no bearing, first of all, on the works of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Then he goes ahead to tackle your point as to whether or not he verified the status of these Galamsey sites named by Professor Frimpong Boateng. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are now, listening to the AG and getting his response on this matter.
Advocacy, my apology. So by the time I was on, I think his response on the verification of the forest had already been made. So I didn't hear it. So if you can, briefly recap it for me.
And we'll get that for you shortly. But just to narrate basically what the AG has been referring to. He believes that, first of all, your criticism is baseless, and the fact that the workings of the Office of the Special Prosecutor has no connection at all to what he's doing, performing his constitutional role as the AG. I want you to listen again, and then we get your response.
Yes. So, police, we live in this era of right to information and all that. I get regular requests for information from Joy FM, requested for information for me in respect of cases I'm doing, Warrior and what have you. And I've furnished them with the information. Have you or any member of Joy FM requested the CID for information at all? The case here is just simple. A situation where a docket was regularly presented to the Attorney General for review. CID had concluded its investigations in the matter, had made clear findings even before bringing the docket for our review.
Right. So
that there was no evidence against any of the persons. And indeed, many a time, we sometimes we overturn the findings of CID and say, no, we recommend prosecution against this person. We rather recommend prosecution against that person and that kind of thing.
Right. But Mr. Dame, lastly, we also know that the OSP is relying on Mr. Frimpong Boateng's documents, right? But, such pronouncements and all we are seeing within the media space, don't you believe will affect the work of the OSP?
Are you suggesting to me that my work as Attorney General can in any way prejudice the work of the OSP? How you look at the Constitution, as a great of the Constitution, all prosecutorial authority in the country is versus the Attorney General. I do not understand you to be suggesting that when I am discharging my constitutional functions as Attorney General, I should render myself subject to what the OSP is doing.
Lawyer Martin Pebu, your response to this?
Listen, the Attorney General hasn't answered my criticism. He hasn't at all. Let me relay it. And I'm telling you, it's unassailable. What I said was that from Professor Frimpong Boateng's report, it's clear and further corroborated by Gabi that C&J Alaska went into the Apeprema and Krobo forest, mined there illegally, and polluted River Ofin, etc. Subsequently, Gabi admitted through various media interviews that, yes, indeed, he called Professor Frimpong Boateng. So with these facts, what I expected the police to do is, one, they would go into those forests to ascertain if illegal mining took place. And look, it doesn't matter that it's been more than 2 years. As long as some mining took place, there are forensic experts who can show that some mining activity will be dug up, etc. And also, even if there is vegetation today, that's easy. Experts can show you that this particular plant is just 6 months old or it's 1 year old, etc. So I expected forensic investigations concerning the mined areas or alleged mined areas. So that once there is evidence of mining, the next thing I expected was that they would go to Minerals Commission to ask, did you give C&J Alaska a mining lease to mine? Because without a mining lease, you are not allowed to mine. Then from there, they would go to Water Resources Commission. Did you give C&J Alaska permit to use revolving for mining, etc., and ask EPA and all these people? That is what I expected him to do. I mean, when I say him, the police. Thankfully, Mr. Dami admits that they sometimes tell the police, no, you haven't done a complete job. Go and cover this side and that one and this. Please, this is basic. So the Attorney General hasn't answered my queries at all. I have not raised anything about special prosecutor yet. For me, this is the thorough investigations I expect. And I told you that myself, Engineer Kenashibe, Kwame Sapon-Esedu, and Edem Senanu, we reported Chairman Wuntumi's Akonta mining to the CID. That is the kind of investigation they are doing. At least from the little we've pushed, that's the information we had. They have to go into the Tano Nimri forest to snap pictures, to gather data, and to see if there was mining, etc. Of course, it's slow. We are very pained by the slow nature of the Akonta mining investigation, but it's being done scientifically. So that is what I'm telling Mr. Adame that they have to do. It's not yet late. We are begging Mr. Adame. We are not fighting him. Look, Ghana belongs to all of us. We are saying they should do a thorough investigation. What his opinion is based on is not a thorough investigation. This is opinion, is a whitewash. That one, I stand by it. Until they go and cover all this ground, I maintain that this AG's opinion is no opinion. We will not take it. This is not an opinion. This is not an opinion. Please, we will not take this. Come on. Why? And Mr. Adame can do better. He knows it. So he should not get defensive. He should just accept. Look, I know that, and even in the US it happens. Sometimes you are Attorney General, the briefs are many. You can't possibly read all. I was reading Condoleezza Rice's book on this is a higher honor. One of the cases, as National Security Advisor, she had to reach out to the Attorney General and to tell the Attorney General that, please, this one, I want you to personally look at the file. I want you to be personally involved. So my understanding is that an Attorney General cannot read all the files. This one, he didn't sign the opinion. So he shouldn't get too defensive. He should just listen to what we said. As for my request that they have to go to the forest, they have to go to Minerals Commission, EPA, etc., it's unassailable. Mr. Adame hasn't responded to it. And let me quickly add that this afternoon, I was
But Counsel, his response is quite clear on that. He says, opt for the RTI if you want to know the status of that from the Ghana Police Service.
Mr. Blessed, let's make this last point before your question. Please, this afternoon, the way Mr. Adame attacked Sami Gyamfi was so unfair, referring to Sami Gyamfi's age at the bar, that 3 or 4 years, and he was stopped by Madam Kilson. So Sami Gyamfi's point cannot be valid. Those ad hominem arguments cannot be made on national airways like that. Those are private conversations. Every good teacher will tell you that they teach and hope that their students will be better than they themselves. Okay, so you can't say because Sami Gyamfi is just about 4 years at the bar, he's not making sense. Okay, yes, Blessed, your question.
Yes, the point about the RTI, which the AG refers to, he says that's an option for anybody who wants to know or get updates on the level of thoroughness in terms of the investigations.
Oh, no. That's approbating and reprobating. Now, let me show you. In the same report, didn't they list the things that they use to go about the writing the opinion? In every legal opinion, you say, listen, I was furnished X, Y, Z. You list everything. Did they list? Didn't they say they looked at caution statement, they looked at reform working statement, they looked at this, they looked at that? Look, I'm thinking, look, Mr. Adame shouldn't take us for fools. No, look, we are all at the bar. He's not superhuman. He should accept that, look, he made a mistake, he was too busy, he couldn't supervise, or if it was intentional, too bad. So he should just go back and do the right thing. We will not use freedom of information to tackle this thing. The the AG's opinion that he come up and standing will not pass muster. This opinion will not pass muster.
I see.
It will not pass muster. You should just withdraw it and do a thorough investigation. And we want to be involved so we can come and help him. You should ask Erastus Asaridonko. He has more footages.
And I'm grateful that you're mentioning that very name, Erastus Asaridonko, that you refer to there, because Erastus has been very passionate about this issue. His latest piece is coming up, Poison for Gold, pointing out the level and extent of damage being caused by activities of illegal mining. And Erastus is on with us. Erastus, I'm wondering what's going through your mind now listening to the defense by the Attorney General.
It's interesting, and I am shocked that we have a police service and a national security that can even find a needle in a haystack, and they are finding it so difficult to find out who is involved in illegal mining across the country from 2018 coming under Professor Frimpong Boateng. I tell you that if a journalist, a simple person like me, I can go on the ground and check and find out who is working where on the ground, that it shouldn't take the Ghana Police Service or the National Security or anybody, such a long time to find out who destroyed the Apamprama Forest Reserve, the involvement of Imperial Heritage in the Apamprama Forest Reserve destruction, in the Upper Wassa Forest destruction, because I have done reports right from there. Under Professor Frimpong Boateng, the Interministerial Task Force at a point in time accosted Chinese miners belonging to CG Alaska in the Upper Wassa Forest Reserve. All those records are there. In fact, in 2018, the Interministerial Task Force, I was part of them, we raided Imperial Heritage Mining in the Apamprama Forest Reserve, the Kobro section, where they were mining with a prospecting license, contrary to law. And the facts are there. The evidence, and I don't know what kind of evidence he needs, but they are there. And it will not be so difficult to trace who destroyed, who were part of the destruction of the forest. The Forestry Commission can tell you who were part of it. The political actors who were mining back then, I can tell you on authority that they are still working in some areas in Mewa, for example, close to Sefribekwai. Some of those political actors who were mining back then are mining there. You go to Watreso, they are there. Some of them are mining in the Apamprama Forest Reserve as we speak. There are certain areas that they are. So seriously, I tend to ask myself, we have the truth sitting, glaring in plain sight. And we have people who are trained to fish for the truth, running around in circles, and saying we can't find it. It's not because they can't find it. It's because they don't want to see it. And it's sad.
And the very words you use suggest that, finding these sites and where these individuals operate should not be that difficult. You feel that the Ghana Police Service can readily do that even as we speak, and that the pieces of evidence might not be destroyed?
In fact, in my report, I have provided, you see, in the illegal mining, if you are looking for somebody to own up and say that, okay, I was the one who destroyed the Pamprama Forest Reserve, then you are joking. Because nobody will come up, no thief will come up and say, oh, I did it. It needs painstaking investigations. For some of us, we have to risk our lives, go deep in the forest, find out, talk to local people, and get names of people who are mining in those areas. And they will tell you readily. In fact, some of them, they will come forward because some of their farms have been destroyed by these political actors. And they have fought them in court so many times and they failed. In the case of Ashawan, for example, I did so many reports where at Bepotinting, farmers came forward. They fought this lady in court. And they lost because they did not have the money that he has, the influence that he has. So seriously, we are joking with some of these things. If we really want to get to the bottom of it, we brought evidence, video evidence of violations of environmental laws by Akunta Mining. What happened to it? Nothing. At the end of the day, the National CID is asking me to provide further evidence. Further evidence for what?
Great questions you're asking there. Let's also bring in now the communications officer of the National Democratic Congress, Lawyer Sammy Gyamfi, who's equally concerned about this. And Lawyer Sammy Gyamfi, the AG's back, fighting back, indicating that he simply lacks the evidence.
Why are you guys pampering this Attorney General? I think where we've got into, we just have to boldly call out this Attorney General. Now, look, what you are engaged in is nothing but a cover-up of serious crimes against the state. Crimes that have led to the destruction of our water bodies and forest reserves. Crimes that have endangered our very lives as a people. This is a very serious matter which we don't have to take lightly at all. And I don't really appreciate, I commend multimedia for giving this matter the attention, you've given it. You discussed it on Top Story yesterday. You're doing the same thing today. It was the main issue on your media story. That is commendable. But I believe you and the media can do more. And what I mean by you can do more is that you need to take a definite stance in this matter. There cannot be any middle ground. The issues Erastus Asaredonko, has been talking about are works that you as a media organization, multimedia, commissioned. I mean, the Forest and the Sea documentary is not a private property or a private work by a private journalist. This is multimedia's work, multimedia's contribution to the fight against Galamsey. And so all the pieces of evidence Erastus is talking about are pieces of evidence within your custody. So rather than standing in the middle and granting this gentleman an interview and asking him questions, you should just tell him to his face that, Mr. Minister, you are wrong. That there is no evidence to prove that Emmanuel Donald Msia has not been engaged in illegal mining. We have the video footage. His excavators, about 30 of them, Erastus can confirm, were seized in an operation in 2018 by the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining. The video footages are there. At the time, he only had a prospecting license. He didn't have a mining lease. What he did was a crime, and he must be punished for that. You understand? Until we see those of you, the fourth estate of the realm, taking a stance in this matter, politicians like Godfrey Dami will get away with such, cover-up schemes. So please, let's not waste time on this matter. As the main opposition party will be addressing a full-blown press conference on this matter on Monday, and we will be playing to the nation and the entire world incontrovertible evidence that go to confirm most of the assertions contained in the Frimpong Boateng report. If Profedame is saying that he is the only Alice in Wonderland, he is not what Forest and the Sea documentary. He's not heard the interview that his own colleague, MPP Ashanti Regional Vice Chairman, Kwamina Century, the evidence he has put out about the illegal sale of mining concessions that somebody like Professor Albert Kwam has been engaged in, we were going to play these pieces of evidence to him and the entire world. And the evidence is there, black and white. You can't run away from that. So rather than grant interviews and insult people like us, this afternoon I heard him say that I was just called to the bar some 2 or 4 years, which is a lie, and that the person who authored that so-called advice even taught me law, which is another lie. Rather than make such condescending, such insulting comments, we should hold the feet of this public officer, in this case, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, to the fire of accountability. He must not be allowed to get away with this cover-up. This is the same thing they did in the Galamsey fraud scandal, which was published by investigating journalist Eyram Yehouessi. They did the same thing with regards to the missing excavators. and they cannot get away with it. So let's get straight to the point. I tell you, he's lying. How is it that, my brother, finally, that Frimpong Boateng will give you a statement written by a willing witness, a journalist by name Sesmante, confessing that his bank account at NIB was used to receive bribes from miners whose excavators had been seized, 50,000, 55,000 cedis and so on, and that 27 of these equipment were released to these miners after they paid bribes into his bank account. He is giving you the man's own statement. He is giving you a bank statement which shows all the withdrawals and the deposits. And you say you don't have evidence to prosecute Sesmante or Ekowawusi or John Oforiata. Are we case in this country? What does it take us? This guy has no respect for the good people of this country.
Right.
And it is because we are not angry enough. It is about time we said enough is enough.
All right. Grateful that you spent some time with us. And that's the National Communications Officer for the National Democratic Congress, lawyer Sammy Jamefi. Newsnight is next. And in the next 60 minutes, 2 islands submerged, houses washed away, leaving hundreds of residents homeless as flood waters continue to take over many homes in 3 town districts of the Volta region.
As I'm speaking with you, they are become very urgent that we have to move all of them, the 2 islands, we have to move everybody to their safe haven. So as I speak with you, those who are on these 2 islands are being moved now.
There's more unfolding on the story. We're live on the ground for you for the latest situation, plus what authorities are doing to remedy the situation.
Some of these misconducts, such as hooliganism, bullying, occultism, smoking, drug abuse, to mention a few, have their roots, we have detected, in their homes.
And that's the situation many are worried about, and discipline and immorality taking over the country's secondary schools as the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools demand discretionary power to deal with this menace.
Charles is of the view that the heads of these institutions must be given some discretionary powers to handle more serious issues at the level of the Board of Governors.
Also tonight, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission is directing the Electricity Company of Ghana to ensure meters are available to power consumers to address illegal sales following Joy News investigations, which revealed people are being made to pay huge sums for meters only to find that majority are fake.
Though illegal connection, we frown upon it, they should also make it more possible and more friendly for consumers to connect to electricity and water.
And I have not regretted taping my conversations with senior police officers plotting the removal of the IGP. Chief Bugri Nabu insists, while threatening to release the full tape to the media if investigations drag.
All of them admitted. The tape you want, I'll play the tape for you to see. And if they deny it, I will tell the committee and get any television station and read and play for the whole Ghanaian to hear it.
Well, there's more as Chairperson of Parliament's ad hoc committee reviews lawyers for the IGP are running away from the allegations of bias against him.
We didn't talk about it at all.
Why? You didn't ask them?
We didn't have to even glorify them with, to say.
As the chairman, did you express your revulsion against their comments?
I did.
We also have business coming up.
And marginal drop in prices of some food items pushes inflation rate down for second month running to hit 38.1%.
And in sports, Ghana could face Morocco, Egypt or Algeria in the group stage of AFCON 2023. We'll tell you why ahead of the draw in Abidjan.
Plus, data from air monitors show across markets some of the most polluted in the country. In today's story on air pollution, we'll tell you why you may be getting more than you bought at the market, especially on market days.
The prices are reasonable, so that's why we all come here. So, and most of the food are being it's on the floor. I mean, you can't even breathe properly. You live here most of the time with catarrh, headache.
And something exciting also about the National Science and Maths Quiz. Of course, the business end of the National Science and Maths Quiz is on this evening. Kumasi High School has qualified to the quarterfinal stage of the competition, beating the Eastern Regions of Kwapiman SHS. We have details on that all here on Newsnight.
The online page for the new business account was in shambles yesterday. We lost the page.
Tell me about it.
We started off very confident, and then the office broadband went down. When we set up the hotspot from the phone to reconnect, the data allocation also got finished.
You are joking.
I wish. The meeting room was hot. Kobe quickly tried calling them to give us some more time, but he had no airtime. Total chaos. They also gave us feedback that our website didn't have enough information. How can you run a business this way and hope to grow?
Oh dear.
Your business communication can be way better than this. Vodafone One Business is a complete communications package that gives you broadband with data transfer to mobile phones, mobile package with free calls among employees, landline with free calls and website design plus domain name registration. At Vodafone Business, we understand that strong connections within your business lead to success. Call 050-777-9000 or sign up by sending an email to sme@vodafone.com. Vodafone, further together.
Ready? Let's go. We all go paint some savannah.
Everyone is dancing, everyone is singing, because everyone is painting with Savannah. Savannah paints from Azar are affordable enough for everybody to fulfill their paint needs. Paint more, pay less. Savannah paint, we all go paint some.
We all go paint some savannah. We all go paint some.
Life is a journey.
As the pulsating rhythms of Nigeria meet the rich tapestry of Ghana, Eyram Air invites you to experience the connection. Discover the enchanting fusion of traditions, flavors, and new sights that await you as you fly Eyram Air from Accra to Lagos and back.
Glimpse of the clear blue sky.
Experience schedule reliability, on-time departures, and excellent service. Fly daily from Lagos to Accra. Book now at www.eyramair.com.
Right on time to anywhere you wanna be. A quiet for me in the air. Be assured that we care. Safety our priority. Schedule reliability. Experience Eyram Air.
Go for gold and bet risk-free on the new season with Betway. Use the golden booking code found on the Betway site to bet on selected match week and get 100% back as a free bet on any losses. You always get more with Betway. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
And you're listening to Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM and affiliates across the country as we bring you the story of hundreds of residents in North, Central and South Tongue who have been rendered homeless as flooding continues to invade several homes along the Volta River. The situation, according to the residents, is caused by an ongoing spillage of the Ekosombo and Pong dams by the Volta River Authority. The rising water levels have also submerged two islands in the Central Tongue district, washing away homes and blocked roads, bringing businesses to a standstill. We'll get you all of the action on the ground shortly, but first, though, let's listen to the North Tongue District Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Sedan Bright Amuzu, who spoke earlier with my colleague James Kwesi Averji.
As I'm speaking with you, there are two islands in Central Tongue. These two islands, it has become very urgent that we have to move all of them. The two islands, we have to move everybody to their safe haven. So as I speak with you, those who are on these two islands are being moved now. Some have voluntarily evacuated themselves in town and they are staying with relatives. And then we are also making plans to VRA and then the NADMO National to see how best we can take care of these people. So today, Director General, the VRA team, has been here in Central Town. They've presented some items to us, and then we are also taking stock. We are packing them very well. Very soon, we'll go to the people where they are lodging, and then we'll see this item distributed to them for now. We can all be safe.
Before the spillage happened, and have you had a prior info from the VRA? Have you gone into any public sensitization before this happened?
Yes, there's been prior notice. VRA has done some sensitization programs before I even came to office as a director for Central Town. They've done this program for all directors. They've done this program for assemblymen. So even before the spillage, they gave some information out 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of time. And they've been that education. We've been on the radio, the local radio station here.
And we'll be getting updates for you shortly. It's a good time now to hear from Joshua Tigo, my colleague who's been on the ground monitoring all of the developments for us. First, though, Josh, let's talk about the communities where you were and what's the latest as we speak.
Oh, thank you, Blessed. So I'm currently at Mefe, where hundreds of people are affected. And just by way of update, I need to say that the water levels continue to rise. There is no end to the rising levels. In fact, I stood at a place for about 5 minutes, just about 50 meters away from where the flooding had gotten to. And by the time I started granting this interview, the water had reached where I was standing. And so that should tell you the level at which the water is rising.
There's the talk about relief items being distributed as the Volta River authorities indicating. Any sight of that?
Yes, so a few minutes ago, I had the opportunity to talk to NADMO officials, the DC of the area, and the MP, Okujotua Blakwa. There is a secondary school at Mefe called St. Kizito. Okay, so it's on a high ground. So a few of the residents that have been displaced are currently camped there. And so there was a meeting where they spoke to the residents. I can say that even though there is some sense of how many relief items are coming, the items are yet to reach the area, but I have a reliable information that the items are on their way.
And earlier today, there was a meeting between VRA, the National Disaster Management Organization. We understand that took place within the Adidome area. What more information are we gathering on that, and what resolutions were made at that meeting?
Okay, the information we are gathering is that there may be more spillages happening. There is no end in sight for the spillages. What is a bit difficult for NADMO is that it looks as though they do not have any accurate data to work with. So they are currently making sure that they are able to gather data so they are able to take care of the people. The people continue to be distressed. They are worried, but it appears that finally there is some relief on the way. So let's see how that goes. But I can tell you that there is no end in sight for the rising levels of the water.
Grateful for the updates, Joshua Tigo, monitoring developments for us. And we understand that many of the riverine communities are yet to recover from the extent of damage. It's a good time to speak to the Member of Parliament for the area. That's the South Tone constituency, Kobla Mensa Woyome, who's joining us over the telephone lines now. Good evening to you, sir. We know that's not a very good time for you, knowing that many of your constituents have been affected by the spillage. You've been touring some of the affected communities yourself in the constituency today. What's your assessment of the situation?
Thank you. Good evening to your listeners. It's a very sad situation. I started the touring of various areas and towns with the district executive and some officers from the decentralized offices. And I must say, some of the communities have been submerged. Various some schools, about 10 schools have been affected. and buildings are collapsing, especially the street houses. And you will notice that properties running to hundreds of thousands of Ghana cities, if not millions, are affected. And also the businesses that are located along the river banks have not been spared either. And as it is, we're realizing that the rise in the river level is also on. And so I think that we don't know when that is going to subside.
And we've just confirmed that the National Disaster Management Organization, together with the Volta River Authority, are beginning to distribute some relief items. Do you have knowledge of this? Would you say that's sufficient, at least, to allow these affected residents pass the night?
Not that I'm aware of, except to say that the DC informed me that some items have been brought but were sent to a sister constituency, that is the Central Town, for distribution. So he was called to send a vehicle to collect what belongs to Southtown, or has been allocated to Southtown. So we just returned from one of the areas called Alike Kope, and just about to discuss a few strategies for tomorrow. And so we haven't heard what has been sent to Southtown, now that we know the items, the actual things that were sent.
I see, and it must be a very touching moment. Watching your constituents who are helpless because of the spillage exercise. Beyond, assessing the situation yourself, what more do you intend to do as MP for the area?
I think we just have to, at this point, call on all assembly to assist in this case. I think Nadmo is performed under the circumstance. The districts in Nadmo, we do not have anything. We do not even, the assembly itself is cash strapped. And this is when I think I have to call on the central government to release the common fund to enable some of these interventions to be carried out. And so it's a problem that we think needs all to just come, put hands on the fields and see how they can also assist in one way or the other, especially the vulnerables. Because currently we are aware people are not going to sleep in their homes today. And so what we've done is that we've tried to encourage those relatives, friends to accommodate such persons. And then from tomorrow we'll be able to continue to engage them and see what we can do to assist. So it's an ongoing thing. So we've just closed for today, and we're going to continue on the rounds tomorrow, and then be collecting information from all the various areas that have been very affected.
And we'll certainly be back tomorrow to check up. That's the Member of Parliament for Southtown, Kobla Mensa Woyome, giving us some updates on this spillage of the Ekosombo Dam, which is wreaking havoc in many parts of the country, especially the riverine communities along the Volta Lake. We can now get more updates on this. There's also a statement, we understand, from the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco, updating the public on the exercise. James Kwesi is joining me now with details of that. James, let's get to understand why Gridco is concerned about this exercise.
Yes, blessed. So Gridco is actually informing the public that there is an emergency shutdown of its substation in Sogakope, affecting power supply to Sogakope and its environment. The shutdown, according to them, is due to the flooding situation at the substation as well, as a result of the ongoing control spillage from the Ekosombo Dam. They say that it has become necessary to do this to avoid the risk of electrocution, loss of life, and related dangers. Power will be restored as soon as the situation improves. So that's what Gridco is saying. And indeed, our checks on the ground reveals that power has been taken off. As to when power would come back is what we do not know. And so, per what they are saying, if the water subsides, then power will come back for the people.
Earlier today, the Volta River Authority indicating that it is equally concerned about this. They claim further details will be provided on the spillage. What more do we know?
Exactly. So in the latest update, they say that they are going to continue with the spillage, but that would be monitored. And so what we're picking from the ground is that there is a monitoring team on the grounds in the 3-ton regions monitoring the situation, and whatever they pick on the ground would determine the rate at which the spillage will continue going forward. And so that is what is happening. They've gone there not empty-handed, with some safety relief items for the people as well.
Well, we can listen to the Assembly member for Sokpe electoral area, Edmond Fiangaro, who said the situation is dire. Children can no longer go to school.
It has entered into people's house, people's shop, people's farm, and it has destroyed a lot of farm products, big farms and properties and others. A hotel has been overflow and they have to move everything from the room. A small island at the Wume area there, it has been carried away by the village, affecting students to come to school because a creek at their end has been overflow and the footbridge on it too, they can't walk on it. So we have to use canoe to bring them to school, which is also something that is not encouraging. If you don't take time, it will take you away. This very one is very, very bad. The rate of it is too high because river has been overflowing and it has not reached where it is now.
And how are the people who've been affected coping?
Well, some are complaining. They came to me. We went to NADMO. NADMO said they also have to report to regional office and others. So as at now, they are also just there like that. Nothing. The river has come into people's house and it's still coming. So we are appealing to them. They should reduce the rate at which they open the village so that we can also get a small comfort here.
And that's Edmond Fingaro, who happens to be the Assembly member for the Sokpe electoral area within the Southton constituency of the Volta region, wherever you are along the Volta River, either at the upper or lower ends. We entreat you to be cautious out there. Join you, so we'll bring you some updates on the spillage by the Volta River Authority. But it's a good time now to stay within the energy sector, as the Executive Secretary of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC, Dr. Ishmael Aka, entreating the Electricity Company of Ghana to fasten the supply of certified meters to clamp down on illegal sales of unapproved meters. He assessed the unavailability of electricity meters influences customers to access unauthorized meters at excessively higher cost. This follows the Joy News investigations uncovering proliferation of fake and illegal sale of meters in parts of the country. Clinton Yeboah has more.
The Electricity Company of Ghana has reviewed a revenue loss of 2.8 billion cedis owing to illegal power connections. The widespread of use of counterfeit meters across the country is a consequence of meter shortages. Executive Secretary of the Public Utility Regulatory Commission, Dr. Ishmael Aka, is admonishing the expedition of licensed meters for prospective customers to curtail the illegality.
So when it comes to the electricity and even water, times they do U-touch, they do so many other means to get electricity or water. The criminal code frowns upon this practice. Anything, we call it illegal, but it is stealing. PURC and Energy Commission are educating people. But we also will encourage ECG and Ghana Water to make meters available. At times, that is one of the challenge some consumers say. Though illegal connection, we frown upon it, they should also make it more possible and more friendly for consumers to connect to electricity and water.
Dr. Aka made these comments at the Commission's Public Education, Engagement and Enforcement of Tariffs in Kumasi under the theme PURC Year of Operational Efficiency. He revealed that the recent high cost of water tariffs is a result of effect of illegal mining, polluting water bodies, and the skyrocketing cost of water treatment and production.
When it comes to the chemical, Ghana Water was using alum. But now they've moved from alum to polymer. One polymer is 4 times more expensive than alum. So it means that the cost of production has gone up. Cost more time, more chemical and more energy to now process the water. And this is because of the galamsey. So in some areas you even see muddy water which you have to treat before you can transmit for customers to get them.
From Kumasi, Clinton Yeboah reporting.
And of course, we know all of this is flowing from our latest Part Thieves, which is part of the Hotline documentary, which is uncovering how some ECG staff take exorbitant amounts of money from the unsuspecting public to provide them with fake meters. There's a lot of reaction greeting this. The latest coming through from the Energy Commission on this matter. My colleague Samuel Mbura has details and excerpts of that statement. Mbura, what's the concern of the Commission?
Well, the Energy Commission has issued a formal request to Joy News for an apology and retraction regarding what they call the publication of false information concerning the Commission. Joy News' recent investigative documentary about fraudulent activities within Ghana's power distribution revealed the alleged forgery of documents to facilitate the acquisition of unauthorized ECG meters. Notably, this report featured an individual who introduced himself as Jerry and works with the Energy Commission. This claim by Jerry and his affiliation with the National Energy Commission was subsequently published in the documentary. The Energy Commission, in an official statement, has clarified that Jerry is not a staff of the Commission. Joy News has taken note of the National Energy Commission's clarification and disassociation from the individual, titled Power Thieves. The documentary has garnered positive attention from anti-corruption advocates in Ghana. In response, the power distributor, ECG, has initiated an independent investigation to address the broader issues surrounding the illicit sale of electricity meters. This internal investigation serves as a proactive measure to combat the concerning trend.
I see. And excerpts of that statement, of course, coming through from the Energy Commission on this. We'll definitely do some more checks and bring you updates on our latest power thieves. But you want to watch a playback of that on all of our social media handles. It's at Joy News on TV. Indiscipline, immorality has taken over secondary schools. That's the concern of Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, which says senior high schools in the country have currently become a breeding ground for social vices such as hooliganism, bullying, occultism, amongst others. At its conference in Accra today, President of CHAS, Reverend Father Stephen Owusu-Seche, indicates that the best way the menace can be curtailed is for government to grant head teachers discretionary powers to handle acts of indiscipline.
It is our wish that management, and for that matter all authorities in the management of education, will take the following concerns which have made management of our schools a bit challenging and get them addressed conclusively. Charles Nime, Charles Ni Chairman, is concerned about the increasing rates of indiscipline that have bedeviled most of our senior high schools of late. Some of these misconducts, such as hooliganism, bullying, occultism, smoking, drug abuse, to mention a few, have their roots, we have detected, in the homes and communities of the culprits.
Well, it's an interesting position being shared by CHAS, and you had the Vice President, Reverend Father Stephen Owusu-Seche, also with us now is Professor Stephen Adanho himself, runs a senior high schools and an educationist, obviously, and understands the intricacies of these matters. Prof, thank you for spending some time with us here on Newsnight. How bad is the situation per your assessment in our secondary schools? Do you side with the position of CHAS on this?
Well, first of all, I think that the CHAS has gotten a very strong case in the sense that you cannot put getting to 5,000 students in, say, Pempe College and hold that the GS in Accra will be responsible for discipline matters. Totally absurd. So I think that the first line of discipline is always with the management of the school. And if you take that from them, you are going to have probably an epidemic of indiscipline, occultism, and homosexuality, and every form of evil on your hand. And therefore, I totally accept them. Look, the situation started long time ago. About 10 years ago, a teacher in Obuasi, in a Catholic school, could tell the Catholic father visiting, who questioned him why he doesn't come to school, misbehavior and that thing. Even the teacher told the father that he can write to Ghana Education Service. Nothing will happen to him. That is a fundamental cause for that. However, I think that will not be a full-fledged solution. So I support their stand totally. I run a school with 1,600 students, boarding school, and there's a code of honor that the students sign and their parents sign. And the sanctions are attached to it. If you violate it, the principal doesn't have to come to Stephen Ade or the board. Immediately. Just last week, we dismissed a teacher summarily. Why? Because he was not, that's all that he was. He was not supposed to walk near students doing wati in our school. He was found on the same level. We have about 3 levels, and the students were taking the examination on the second level also. Immediately, the cameras caught him. Within the week, he had been summarily dismissed. Listen, we are faced with a pandemic whereby there's so much indiscipline and so much examination malpractices, so much so that if we are not careful, our WASI will not be respected internationally, and woe betide the whole country for that to happen.
And that's why we're looking for solutions, Prof. What's your expectation from the authorities, the Ghana Education Service, the Ministry of Education?
Well, I think that one solution is what they have proffered. The other is that also when you have a high level of concentration, which is a byproduct of the free SHS, with so many students, if you having to stay in a classroom, 5,000 in the school meant for 1,500, we must accelerate the decongestion so that the decongestion is by building day quality community schools, which is a big topic. We cannot take it on the radio today. There is another, is that in the early 50s, in Nkrumah, de facto nationalized all church schools. We know, even today, under the worst case scenarios, where the Catholics are in charge, the Presbyterians are happening, the situation is ameliorated. It's high time that we gave the educational authorities of the churches the authority to implement their discipline in the schools.
And Professor Stephen Adai, we're grateful that you've found time to explain some of these matters to us. Grateful for your time. And that's the revered academic Professor Stephen Adai. Well, still to come here on Newsnight, aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management accused President Akufo-Addo-led government of being insensitive to their plight. Details, as they say, no government official has addressed them 24 hours after they started their protest at the Finance Ministry.
We will sleep here with the workers. No policeman can stop that. No policeman, even the IGP cannot stop us unless they shoot us with live bullets.
Well, we pray that doesn't happen, but it's a good time to bring in George Wefe, who's joining us for business. George, and these clients say the allocation was done, they need the money, it was stated in the parliamentary
the Securities
report.
and Exchange Commission has sought to clarify that in a statement that they have issued, insisting that a majority of those customers have been paid, and it's just a fraction of that. And they also explain that delays in advancing the payment is due to some legal hedges in trying to deal with the institution in question that is a Black-Shot Capital. I'll be getting you more details on that one. And also marginal drop in prices of some food items pushes inflation rate down second month running to hit 38.1%. Business News on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business.
Imagine strutting into the most anticipated wedding of the year. Only to see 7 other girls wearing your exact same outfit.
You are special and one of a kind, and that's why whether it's voice, data or SMS, you get to enjoy personalized offers tailored to your specific needs with MTN Just For You. Dial *141# or select your options on the My MTN app to redeem your unique Just For You package on Ghana's best mobile network. MTN.
Hooray! The Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's Back to School promotion is here with us once again. From the 4th of September to the 31st of October 2023, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10% to 15% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and so much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, Winneba, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stock lasts. For more information, call us on 0302 764 101 or 0302 764 209 or email info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
No matter your water needs, Sintex has it all. Sintex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Sintex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Sintex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project or demand, choose Sintex tank. Sintex tank, stress-free. Sintex tank, reliable. Sintex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit sintexgh.com. Sintex tank, a year strong, a year tough. Do you know Flamingo paint has superior properties than any other paint brand on the market? Listen, when you take 1 bucket of Flamingo paint, it's equal to several buckets of any paint brand on the market. So, Flamingo has superior hiding properties, superior coverage, it means it covers, and superior durability. Flamingo paint, superior hiding. Flamingo paint, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, superior durability. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
United we stand, divided we fall. As a young mother, I'm vaccinated to protect my family. As a daughter, I'm vaccinated to protect my elderly parents. As a teacher, I'm vaccinated to protect my students. Remember that all the COVID-19 vaccines work with the body's natural defenses to safely develop immunity. Let's stand together to end this pandemic. We are stronger together. Protect yourself and those around you. Get vaccinated today. Forget the yab. Get the jab. This message is brought to you by the Ghana Health Service, FHI 360, and Good Life. Live it well.
dia sambisanda mo. Eti emratia no. Mumu hwan pa na tumi hwe na mo bodompe mo man yakono.
Eye kwabna.
Na mumu hwan so na tumi just mali memma ye nyina de.
Eye kojo.
En kro. Kobra tumi hwe na bodompe mo sense o yusu accident eba. Aye den aban ne do braye. Wo sie ti na mo ban na sem ma na hoode ne.
Sa.
Ani na kudwo nso yusu accident chako. Na no ne de e ma wo se wo ye kregen fita. Na watimi asiri bedwo memma na feel you.
Ey kojo. Sa.
Yeah. Pepsodent Eba and a Pepsodent Charcoal. Afedie. Yakono natural.
FDIJ Trading Katuyatu.
You're welcome back to Business on Newslight. Let's now settle for the details. Marginal drop in prices of some food items push inflation rate down for the second month running. The new rate for the month of September is 38.1%. There is more in this report.
The Ghana Statistical Service data released today on the Consumer Price Index also showed that non-food items witnessed some marginal drop compared to the same period for last year. Also, these developments helped reduce inflation rate to this new level. However, this does not mean that every food and non-food item on the market were dropping, but rather the rate at which prices were increasing on the market based on how inflation is calculated is slowing. However, gauging the price levels of items just produced in Ghana, the report showed that local inflation was going up. Also, inflation on imported items were dropping ending September 2023. Some may link this to the marginal stability of the Ghana cedi over the past month. Prices of imported tea bags, on the other hand, witnessed the highest jump in price level by more than 100%. However, its weight in the food basket for measuring inflation was not that significant. At the regional level, Northeast region from the same period of last year to September had the highest level of inflation.
And that is a business text report. Meanwhile, government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnene believes that we should be measured about the expectation about the outlook.
Keep in mind that it's only a slowdown of 2.5%. Food inflation is 49.4% for the month of September 2023, and it ties with alcoholic beverages, tobacco and narcotics as the two divisions that recorded the highest rate of inflation, relative to the national rate of inflation of 38.1%. So the emphasis should be on what is making our food inflation have a rate far higher than the national rate of 38.1%.
And government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnene, but government says it expects inflation rate to drop further in the coming months as some of its policies are impacting positively on food prices. Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam is the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry and has been speaking on the yet-to-be-aired PM Express Business Edition that is tomorrow 9 p.m. on Joy News.
That is why we are not celebrating 38%. That is why we're saying that although the economy is recovering as a result of hard work, we are still determined to work harder until we achieve our target. And this is why the Planting for Food and Jobs is going to play a central role. But it has to do with investment. The government is committed more in agriculture.
And you believe that if these policies well implemented, we're going to see the numbers trend down further in the coming months?
Of course, we expect so. We expect the trend to follow what we are experiencing.
Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam is the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, and he has been speaking on the yet-to-be-aired PM Express Business Edition tomorrow on Joy News at 9 p.m. Now, Managing Director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, is optimistic that Ghana will be able to close a deal with its external creditors to aid the release of the second tranche of funds. Now, Madam Georgieva disclosed this after meeting the Ghana team led by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofriatta, and Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison on the sidelines of the World Bank IMF meetings in Marrakesh, Morocco. The IMF Managing Director added that reaching the deal would help move forward these disbursements. The Minister of Finance, Ken Ofriatta, on his part, called on the bilateral creditors to agree on this debt relief in terms of quickly and help in fast-tracking the process. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission has linked delays in paying all the customers of Gold Coast Fund Management, now Black-Shield Capital, to moves by directors of the company to frustrate the liquidation process. Now, this is due to several legal hedges that they have thrown in the way of government and the court process to liquidate the firm. This affected government's ability to fully roll out the bailout program to cover all these clients. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission, in a statement today, maintained that majority of the clients have been paid. The stories and Pro Vice Chancellor of the Ghana Communication Technology University, that is Professor Robert Henson, has indicated that building an appropriate service delivery culture is critical for the success of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. According to him, improved service delivery will enhance trade activities in the sub-region. He was speaking at the International Customer Service Week organized by the Customer Service Africa.
Continental Free Trade Area. You receive an order for 1,000 sandals from Serekunda in the Gambia. You work in Ghana. Somebody in the factory decides to go to a funeral from Thursday to Sunday. You don't fulfill the order. You lose the business. So service is the lubricant for organizational success, both for small firms and for major firms. So if we don't get this whole customer-centric thing right, we don't build appropriate service cultures, we don't have a service strategy, we don't cultivate service dashboards, we don't check how service is being delivered from the front line all the way to the boardroom, then we'll run into problems. So for trade and business enhancement, service is key.
Pro Vice Chancellor of the Ghana Communication Technology University, Professor Robert Henson. Now, satellite TV provider HD Plus has kickstarted an installer training program for ladies in the prison service as part of an economic empowerment initiative. Managing Director of HD Plus, Adelaide Bill Williams, has been explaining to Joy Business after the opening of the first training session here in Accra.
HD Plus, we believe that women have the ability to contribute to their social economic growth of the environment that they are in, if only they are given the support and the training to be able to do that. And so we decided to partner with the prison service. This is all in quest to ensure that homes across Ghana have quality installations. So we decided to work with the Ghana Prisons leadership to focus on the women and bring them to up to speed so that they could also deliver quality installations, satellite installation services to homes across the country.
Managing Director of HD Plus, Adelaide Abio Williams. And that's all for Business on Newsnight. And let's do it. Good time to do some sports.
The man is here. Musbao?
Yeah, sports.
Okay. Well, it's happening. We're all waiting for that all-important 2023 AFCON draw, which is set to come off on Thursday in Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. And, of course, music star Akon is the one who's going to be leading that draw there. So, very interesting. He's going to be leading that draw. And the interesting part is that Ghana could face Morocco, Egypt, or Algeria in the group stage of next year's AFCON. And my colleague Daniel Krante has all the details in this report.
Ghana's Black Stars will know their opponents for the 2023 AFCON when the draw for the competition is held on Thursday night. The Black Stars, who will be looking to end their over 40-year AFCON drought, have been placed in Pot 2 alongside Nigeria, Cameroon, Mali, Burkina Faso, and DR Congo. There are 4 pots containing 6 teams each. A team from each pot will be drawn and spread out from groups A to F. This will conclude with 6 groups of 4 teams each representing each pot. Ghana will have to contend with one of the teams in Pot 1, which consists of defending champion Senegal, together with 2021 finalists Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, and hosts Côte d'Ivoire. Pot 3 includes 1996 champion South Africa, Cape Verde, Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, Mauritania, and 2012 champion Zambia, who are managed by former Black Stars head coach Eyram Grant. Pot 4 contains Guinea-Bissau, Mozambique, Namibia, Angola, Gambia, and Tanzania. Next year's competition features no debutants, a testament to the strength and pedigree of the teams on display. The 2023 AFCON will run from January 13th to February 11, 2024 in Côte d'Ivoire.
Well, so interesting. Not sure, Blessed, which teams you'd like to see Ghana face between Morocco, Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia, Côte d'Ivoire, and Senegal. Pick one for me, let me see.
Why don't we do Senegal?
Okay, Senegal. Well, if you're a Accra Heart of Folk fan, the board chairman of Accra Heart of Folk has been appealing to the fans to exercise patience with new coach Martinus Koopman, and he's been speaking at the annual general meeting of the club, where he insists that they know what they are doing.
When you are a genuine supporter, you have to understand these things and keep supporting. You see what I'm saying? Arsenal, look at what they went through for many years until now. Liverpool, for 30 years in the doldrums until a club came in. So please, with all due respect, okay, a good coach can still find a new area, a new environment difficult. It doesn't mean that the coach is totally useless. Neither does it mean that the managers don't know what they're doing.
Togbe Afede, the board chairman of Accra Heart of Folk. So Accra Heart of Folk fans exercise patience with the club. They've won 1 game in 4 so far this season, so you can understand the frustration of the fans of Accra Heart of Folk. That's it for sports, brought to you by Pepsi Herbal and Chaco.
I guess it's a story of one step at a time. Thanks to Razak Musbah for bringing us the latest in the world of sports. And the story is that of Green for the aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management, as they accuse President Akufo-Addo-led government of being insensitive to their plight. They say more than 24 hours after they started picketing the Finance Ministry to demand payment of their locked-up investment, no government official has addressed them. Maxwell Agbagba has the rest of the story.
Tired faces here at the Ministry of Finance. A woman just started crying here. It's been more than 24 hours since the grieved customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management started picketing the Finance Ministry to demand their locked up funds, and they are still here. Around 10 p.m. when we visited yesterday, some of them slept on the hard concrete floor, in chairs, and any spot they could find. The 2 mobile toilets they came with were also busy. Although they look tired, they are not tired of holding their placards.
You were crying because of my money. Because of my money. I need money to pay my children's school fees. I don't have, whilst I have money here. That's why I'm crying. I'm pleading for them to see us. They should have pity on us and give us our money. Yeah, it's our sweat, our blood. That's why I'm crying, please.
So you just heard from one of the women who was crying here earlier. Let's speak to convener of the group. Convener of the group, what's your name? Charles?
Charles Nyame.
Charles
Nyame?
Nyame, yeah.
Look at the ages of these people. And we have been here for 24 hours now, and we have not had any leader in the government of Akufo-Addo to come and say a certain words that will calm us down. But we are promising the Ministry of Finance that if we are sleeping here today, we will sleep here with them. If we are sleeping here today, allow them to go home. We will sleep here with them.
And that's the position of the aggrieved customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management. Well, if you're not aware of this, recent data is pointing out that air monitors have exposed a startling reality to us. Some of Africa's largest markets, including the Agbogloshi, Makula, Nima, and also Medina markets, are amongst the city's most polluted places, particularly on market days. In our latest series on air quality and pollution, we uncover the alarming truth about these market goers and how they breathe the air, which has been heavily polluted, and why a simple visit to that market now will require a protective mask. The findings are a stark reminder that what shoppers take home from these markets might include more than what they bargain for, a cocktail of pollutants with every purchase. Our beat reporter Michael Ashali has been to some of these markets, now reports.
In the early morning hours at Agbogloshi Market, a thick cloud of plumes fills the air. This bustling market is already witnessing a steady stream of visitors. The hazy atmosphere contains lethal cocktails of pollutants, many of which are invisible to the naked eye. The grim reality is that unsuspecting patrons frequenting the market unknowingly inhale exceedingly polluted air.
When you come to the market, what's the first thing that hits you?
Air pollution.
the environment. Deaths, I mean, it's very bad, very, very bad, extremely bad.
Caroline Menta is among the multitude of individuals who frequent Agbogbloshie for their everyday household necessities. She acknowledges the possibility that pollutants could have contaminated some of the food items sold there. Nevertheless, for her and many others, economic considerations often take precedence over health concerns.
The prices are reasonable, so that's why we all come here. So, and most of the food are being it's on the floor. When you go, you have to just do your salt water and then wash them, but it's not good.
In the vibrant market of Agbogbloshie, Makola and Madina in Ghana, a notable trend emerges as the week unfolds. Data from Breathe Accra, a project that aims to improve air quality, reveals that pollution levels tend to rise on Wednesdays and Thursdays, coinciding with the bustling market days. On Wednesdays, when these markets buzz with vendors and shoppers, pollutants in the air soar. Agbogbloshie sees the highest spike, attributed to the increased vehicular traffic and market activities. On Thursdays, the pollution readings are still high, and this reflects the lingering impact of bustling market days. For happy shoppers, every visit is literally a headache.
Sometimes, I mean, you can't even breathe properly. The air is polluted. You live here most of the time with catarrh, headache. I mean, it's not good.
Many traders desperate to eke out a living spend over 12 hours inhaling toxins only to end up in hospitals. Mary Ochre, a trader by profession, says she has noticed the terrible effect on her health already.
There are some areas within the Accra metropolis that me standing here, I will not buy eggs from, because the eggs, immediately they get there, the following day, the eggs are being polluted.
For now, Florence advises patrons of markets to wear masks when they visit the market and wash or cook items thoroughly before eating. This story was a collaboration with New Narratives. Funding was provided by the Clean Air Fund. The funder had no say in the content of the story. For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
And it's time for the National Science and Maths Quiz, where the Imrantia from Kumasi Senior High School have qualified for the quarterfinal stage of the 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz after a fierce and thrilling contest against Eastern Regions, Ukwapaman, SHS and Volta Regions, Anglo Senior High School, after the continuous turn of events during every round of the contest. Last year's semi-finalists, Kumasi High School, now secure 40 points, while the closest competitor, Ukwapaman SHS, secured some 36 points, and Anglo trailing with 34 points. Tanaya Boachi Eyram caught up with the winners of the contest.
We are coming,
How do you feel after your boys qualified to the quarterfinal stage?
Very excited. My boys are filled with the Holy Spirit. They are here to do exploits. Charlie, the spirit is itakula.
Wait, you said the spirit is what?
Itakula.
What is itakula?
Itakula. Everything is possible.
All right. How do you also feel after your boys qualified?
And the excitement is definitely on. You want to catch more of the action on the Joy News channel tomorrow as we continue the coverage of the 2023 National Science and Maths Quiz. And as we wrap up, of course, the originator of the leaked tape allegedly plotting the removal of the IGP, Chief Bugri Nabu, says that he has no regrets for recording the controversial comments and conversations with senior police officers Alex Mensah and Superintendent George Asari. He's been addressing the press after today's hearings in Parliament.
We met the committee again. You were there the other time. COP Mensah, Asari, and JB denied that they never talked to me on phone. Yesterday, they confessed it. But I present the tape, and the committee have the tape now with them, and they play it, and they say yes, it's true. They actually put me.
And of course, that's Bugri Nabu there, wrapping up News Night with me.